Thank you very much, and for your attention and time. And how are you? What are you thinking about Brazil? Did you have time to know some place around here?
Well, unfortunately, right before coming here, we had like a lot of delays with our flights because of the volcano, and so we were pretty much living in the airport for like 2 days straight. So we didn't sleep at all. So when we finally did get to Brazil, I just went to sleep. So I didn't get to see that much. But I mean, the venue looks really nice, and the fans seem very respectful, so I'm hoping it'll be a really good show.
That's good. And it's been 2 years since your last album, and I read the band already wrote a bunch of songs. And what can you tell us about that? Is heavier or more melodic?
Well, basically, we're actually in studio right now. Like when we get back from this tour, we're gonna be in studio, and I'm gonna be doing my vocals and finishing up some guitar stuff. And we have a lot of songs written, and I wouldn't say it's heavier or more melodic, it's just kind of more, I think it sounds more mature, like it has the same sort of schizophrenic side that Lullabies for the Divine has, but it also has some other sort of just, I guess what you would call classic influences, like there's some Pantera influence, there's some Radiohead influence, so I mean there's a lot of like influences that we didn't really have before, but I'm not really, like I said, I'm not really sure what it's going to sound like because I can really only tell once it's done and I'm in the studio, and I don't even know what I'm going to do yet, so we'll see.
Do you already know when it's going to be released?
I can't say for sure, but it'll probably be released either the end of this year or the beginning of next year.
Okay, and we know the members have really distinctive music influences, but in this writing process particularly, what band their music, besides Radiohead and Pantera, influence in this writing process?
In this, definitely Opeth. I would even say Rise Against. You know, it's not always metal, you know, so definitely Opeth. I would say probably Led Zeppelin. There's some that you would expect too, like Arch Enemy or The Haunted, those kind of bands too. But yeah, it's kind of it's a big mixture. I'm not really sure.
It's very different.
Yeah.
And you guys also are filming your gigs. And when do you plan to release a DVD with this recording?
Well, we don't have like a person that comes and films for us. So if anyone films, like we actually don't have any film from our gigs. So that would be a good thing to do though, so that we can release a DVD one day. But right now we don't have like any footage. We have maybe a little bit from a few gigs here and there, but probably the next headline tour that we do, we should like hire somebody with a camera to film it, because right now anything that's being filmed is just from people's phones in the crowd. So yeah.
And the Agonist is relatively new, and it's already a success. It has a real good record company, tour with huge bands, and also an American tour with sold-out shows, we can say. Did you expect all of this in such short time? How do you feel about the success? How do you deal with it?
Well, I mean, from my perspective, we're not successful yet, so we're still working on it, you know. And we've also been working on this band since 2003, so it's been almost 10 years for us. So it doesn't really feel like short amount of time and a lot of success. It actually feels like the opposite. It feels like a long time and not enough success. So, but I think that's good because that's what keeps us trying to work harder and harder. And I mean, eventually we'll get to a point, I think, where we can all be satisfied with it. But right now we're not there yet, so we're still working really hard on it. Yeah.
And about the band being a female-fronted, you guys unfortunately face a sort of generalization, and a lot of people don't give attention and credit to them because they have a beautiful woman on the stage, unfortunately. What do you think about it? Being a female-fronted band brings more trouble or more good things?
I think it brings more trouble. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I was walking around yesterday, and I was just thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I really wish I could just put on a disguise and be a man. You know, not because I want to be a man, but in this case, you know, it would make it so much easier, because sometimes I can deal with it. I'm like, okay, I understand, you know, people following me, yelling at me, taking pictures of me, you know, I can deal with that because I understand that that's something that I'm going to have to face because I'm a girl in the boys club. But after a certain point, it just gets to a limit where I'm like, it would be really a lot easier if I was just a guy you know, and I feel like if it was possible to do that, you know, just like put a beard on or something, like I would do it just to be able to relax, but unfortunately you can't do it, and I think it brings a lot of trouble, unfortunately, so.
But you just feel it on the music scene or on other?
You know, I feel it everywhere. Like, it's in the music scene for sure, because metal is definitely a male-dominated genre, but even just like, you know, like, I mean, to quote No Doubt, you know, like, there's so many things you can't do because you're just a girl, you know? Like, and it's pretty frustrating, you know, like, I can't go walk around alone, or I can't, you know, drive late at night, or I can't, you know, and it's frustrating, because it's like, I want to do these things, you know? Or even, like, you know, we're on tour, we're seeing new cities and new places, I want to be able to just go and explore these places, and I can't go, because I'm going to be, like, followed, or it's dangerous, and so it's pretty frustrating, actually. Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah.
Women have been inside the metal scene, we're talking about, for years, and there's still people who don't give the real value to the bands with women, but mainly on the Agonist case, I think that has something of no death metal and this extreme thing. Do you feel like making history, such as these women? Do you feel like right now that you are making history, you're making a difference?
I would like to think so. That's honestly, when I think about that, that's the one thing that makes me want to keep going. You know, because sometimes I'm like, I give up, I can't deal with this, I don't like this attention, I don't like this pressure, all I wanted to do is make music, and now it's way too much for me. But then when I see, like, you know, other girls that are 15, 16, and they're like, hey, check out my band, or people that are like, hey, I became vegan because of you, or people that are like, hey, I just went and saved a dog, and now I have a dog as a pet because of you. Like, that makes me want to keep going, and that's the thing that really is important to me, to know that people actually respect the values that I talk about in my songs and in my lyrics, and that people actually take that to heart. That's worth so much more to me than, I love you, marry me, blah, 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 blah. You know, like, actually listening and registering and understanding, that's what keeps me going. Yeah.
The Agonist, for sure, different from other female-fronted bands, because its vocals isn't that kind of opera on a big singing. But there is the song-like version of yours, with a more lyric-oriented vocals. Didn't you fear the feedback of this song between your more extreme fans at some point?
To be honest, I don't really fear anything from anyone. Like, in terms of music, like yeah, I'm afraid of some people that are crazy, but in terms of music, like, I'm not afraid of what anyone's gonna say, because if I want to do it, and it's good to me, then I'm gonna do it. And even though Swan Lake is an a cappella opera song in this case, it's Tchaikovsky, and if you're gonna argue with Tchaikovsky, then I don't know, maybe you should get out of music, because I mean, there's certain things about music that you just can't argue with, and if you want to argue with it, that's fine, you go ahead, but I have no problem with it. Like, and that's why I like bands that are really influenced from a lot of different types of music, you know, not just metal, like pulling in classical elements or rock elements or jazz elements. Like, that's what makes metal so cool and so sophisticated, is because it's huge and it's full of all these different influences.
But do you tend to explore more other techniques of singing?
Yeah, I mean, actually, on all of our albums, I do have quite a bit of opera, but it's mixed very low in the background, because that's how I like to mix it, because I don't want it to be only vocals that you hear. And because I do like singing opera also, that's why I thought, you know what, it would be cool to kind of show off that side and put that one track on there. And so that's kind of why we did that, because there's a lot of different kind of vocals that I like to use. Just with our music, it's not always applicable. Like, our music is so loud and fast that I have no real choice but to sing loud over it so that you can hear it. So that's why I do some side project stuff too. Like, if some of my friends are like, hey, I have a pop song I wrote, do you want to sing on it? I'll be like, sure, you know, just because it's fun, and it allows me to explore different kinds of singing.
And besides the sound, the band also differs from having members like you, who stand for animals' rights. But what about Brazil? Do you follow the problems that we face around here?
No, actually, I got a few emails recently from people that live here telling me, and I noticed in Chile also, there was a lot of political resistance, and there was a lot of people taken to the streets, and there was even a protest going on right where we were. And I would be interested in following it a little bit more, just because from what I've heard, like there's a lot of consciousness, like a lot of people understand the situation that they're in and they want to do something to change it. Like it seems like there's a lot less complacency than in the United States, and I like that. I think that's really cool, and so I don't. To be honest, I don't follow it, but I would like to follow it a little bit more, just because it's interesting to learn a little bit about that. Yeah.
You studied art history, right?
Yeah.
And act, sing, and also paintings. Certainly a creative person. But in between all of this, what is your preferred one?
Ooh, it's really hard to say, because painting is something that I do on my own, and for a while, like the first job I ever had was making murals, you know, like huge paintings, and I made lots of money doing that. But then after a while, you start to realize, like, wait, I want to paint for me. I want to paint what I want to paint. I don't want to paint this house and this tree in this town because that's what that person wants. And so then I stopped doing paintings for money, and I started just doing it more for myself. Now I'm starting to take, which is actually kind of interesting, is I'm starting to ask fans if they want stuff. And that's really cool to me, because it's sort of marrying my music and painting. So a fan will be like, hey, you know, I really want you to make my album cover or something like that. And I'll be able to be like, okay, cool, I'll do that for you. And so when I don't have a lot of time, but when I have time, I'm able to draw that for them. And that's really cool to me, because it's sort of like I get to do something that I enjoy, and it also helps them out. And I don't know, I mean, I think, because singing is, I really love it, but I can't do it without Danny, Chris, Simon, and Paco. You know, I wouldn't have anything without them. So it's kind of like, when it comes down to what I would really, really like to do, like, probably painting is my favorite, actually, because, honestly, because I don't, like, it seems weird, but I really don't like a lot of attention, and I don't like people screaming my name, and I don't like people, like, I like to just be left alone, you know, and so at least when I'm painting I can do that, and I can just be in my head and get that done. But, that being said, now my music is more successful in my painting, so I'm gonna go with that too, because I do love singing too, so it's just, and acting, I just do it for fun, whatever, like not really anything, so it's hard to say, but for now it's singing, but I still do painting for the love of it. And as long as I'm doing something creative, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Presentation. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Do you want to leave a message for Brazilian fans?
Yeah, what is it called? MetalConcerts? Yeah. From the Agonist, and check out metalconcerts.net. O seu portal de shows de metal.
Yeah.
You people over there, and you people over there.